Hello again. Welcome back to my new series, Lifestyle Etiquette Unravelled, a fireside chat series with global experts and opinion leaders from all corners of the world, talking everything lifestyle and etiquette related. This is episode 2. I'm Juliana.
My guest today is a reality TV personality who has been ruling the scene since 10 years with all ups and downs, from the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows. This experience was captured in a TV show where she was in the role of a chief stew for 5 years. It did not break her. Today, she's an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. She's also a fiancée, but most importantly, she's a mother. All I have to say is, women are great. Women are tough. Do not mess with them. Let's welcome Hannah Ferrier from Below Deck Mediterranean.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Hannah? How have you been doing?
Good, amazing. I'm in Sydney, Australia. I've got that gorgeous little girl, so life is very good.
Yes,
Thank you.
As a new mom, first new mom.
Yes, I know, it's so exciting. It's exciting and it's exhausting and it's exhilarating.
Wonderful. Hannah, I would really like you to give us a brief intro, and I'm sure many people know you, but there may be some who do not know the TV show Below Deck Med.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want people to know your story from a young woman coming from Australia and leaving not only your home, you left a continent to a completely different continent at a young age. And that's also a huge difference. If you could give us a brief intro of, your journey.
Of course. So I went when I was 22 years old on a Europe trip with my mother, and I fell head over heels in love with the south of France and basically came home. I was in corporate in IT and telecommunications, and I came home and put into Google, what can I do speaking English in the south of France?
Yes.
And yachting came up. So I went and got my certificates and literally got on a plane 3 months later and sold everything and moved to France, where I knew nobody. I didn't know the language. I didn't know the industry. So it was definitely, I think it's kind of one of those things that you look back on, and I don't think I would have the guts to do it like today. You have so much more fear. Yeah, you have so much more fear as you get older. So, yeah, it was definitely a gutsy move, but I'm very glad I did it because it basically shaped my whole life. So,
yes. I believe that. And actually, I wanted to ask you, was it a coincidence that you went into the yachting industry? But you just said you just Googled and it popped up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. Well, to my next journey, I mean, that's beautiful. This journey to the yachting industry, and as you said, well, today you won't do it, but you don't regret anything.
Yeah. And
the journey from there, working on a yacht, to today being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And a young entrepreneur. We'll come back to that later. What can you tell the people out there who may think about a career in the yachting industry but have a completely different view of what it is? Because they may see all these pictures maybe posted on social media and it looks like a long summer holiday. Well, yes. Will you help us maybe unravel this misconception?
Yes, of course. So it is definitely not a holiday. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted. But basically, I kind of describe yachting as almost like bipolar in a job, It is the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and it's all wrapped up together in this amazing bundle. you can't, if you think that, yeah, you can go and do it as like a bit of a holiday, it's definitely not a holiday.
Yes.
But what you will find is that one day you'll be like, you know, doing like a 20-hour shift, running around, looking after crazy guests.
Yes.
And then suddenly the next day you are at anchor in Santorini, eating the most beautiful food, playing on a jet ski, and like having experiences that normal people just cannot possibly have, you know?
That's
so
correct. That's the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yes.
is worth it, but it's hard work. You need to be really prepared. Because if it was easy, obviously everyone would do it. If it's just hanging out on a yacht, you know,
Yes.
I don't think there'd be any jobs left. But no,
Correct.
it's hard work, but it's definitely worth it.
It is hard work, and that's why, if it's possible, I would like you to maybe describe a typical day in a life of a yachty. So I think it depends also on the role, which position you hold, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So just take one, just for us to have an idea. What is expected?
So say, for example, my position. So, you know, if we're filming, then we're doing very short charters back to back. So I would get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the guests would come on, we'd do lunch service. Hopefully I can get a break of about an hour in the afternoon, but then I do late service. So I could start at 7 in the morning and still be up working at 4 o'clock the next morning, you know?
That's good you mentioned that. That's good, because I think, and we'll come back to this topic, I hope you will explain a bit more of the traits one needs to bring, or maybe not, because you could help. We'll come to your academy later.
Yes.
So now, just to the untrained eye, what are the quirks and curiosities of this industry? What we don't know?
I guess, you know, there's a lot about the travel. You know, we travel a lot, we live away from home. But the one thing I think that maybe you don't see too much of is like the actual ability to save money, because you're basically living on a yacht, you're working 24 hours, so you're not spending anything, and you don't have rent, you don't pay for bills, you don't pay for food, you don't pay for alcohol. So it's actually like, you know, a chief stew salary could be, for example, about 5,000 euros, which is about 7,000 US, but you can save 6,500 US of that a month, you know? So yeah, some people spend it all and some people save it all. So
is that, for example, a chief stewardess? What will a first stew, or how is it, second and deck? What are the
but a new stewardess will be on around 2,000 euros a month. And then after you've had about a year's experience, you're on 2,500, 2,700. And then once you've had kind of 3-4 years experience, it starts to be about 3,500.
So what is a new stewardess bringing as an experience? Or are they not, and you are the one who has to train them then?
Yeah, you're always going to have to train new stewardesses. But a hospitality background is always a plus.
Yes.
Anything working with and dealing with people. But basically what we've done with Ocean International Training Academy is all the things that you should know and learn before you get on a boat is in our online courses.
Yes.
So I think that I found that there was this massive gap in the market, because obviously, you know that you need to do like a safety course, but they teach you things like what happens if the boat's on fire, what happens with personal security, firefighting, and all of that sort of stuff. But there wasn't really anything to teach you about the actual job that you're walking into.
Correct. This is the hospitality skills, isn't it?
Yes,
it's you mentioned,
Yeah, it's everything from, you know, like cocktail making skills, you know, how to turn down a cabin, how to turn up a cabin, all the different types of service, you know, because like, especially working in the Mediterranean, it's very international. So you can work on one boat, which is, say, for example, like an English family, and they want English service, and then there's American service, Russian service, and it's all very different, and different cultures like to eat differently. So we train you all through that, and really kind of get you ready to basically step on board the yacht and start work, as opposed to stepping on board the yacht and then trying to be trained. Then you can kind of train yourself at home.
Yes, which will be probably too late, and that may break people if they don't train before going. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is good. So we have all the different culture background. We have the people skills. We have the hospitality skills. There are a lot more to learn. It will be better to be the right candidate. And you offer that then.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time as well, if you step on board a yacht, a chief stewardess is going to know that she's got to train you. But if I had somebody say to me like, oh, what do you do on the yacht? Do you do Russian service or, American? I'd be like, wow, they've gone out their way. They've learned, it's showing that initiative. And that's what our courses really help people with, is like, go and have a conversation with the chief stewardess in the interview. And trust me, you will be the only person in the interview that's bringing up things like that, which is going to make you stand out from the crowd.
Is that a job one can do for a long time?
Yeah, definitely. I personally wanted to have a family, so I always knew that I didn't want to do it long term.
Yes.
But then again, I said I was going to do it for a year, and I ended up doing it for 11 years. So
and you learn,
it's quite addictive.
You learn a lot. It's literally what you just described. I have the feeling it's like a floating hotel. So you actually need
but it's definitely
more than
it definitely it has like a kind of a different standard than any hotel I've ever been to, that's for sure.
Yes, but the experience you should bring, or at least a bit, and hopefully trained by you, should be like if you are going into a hotel with hospitality skills background.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll come again back to that. This is all about etiquette and lifestyle. And is there a must-know etiquette rule in the yachting industry one should know, where you would say this is, I know you have all these rankings. It's not really Navy, but there is a hierarchy, isn't it, to follow?
Yeah, it's a very hierarchy-driven industry.
Yes.
And it's kind of one of those industries where if you don't agree with someone, look on their shoulder. If they have more stripes than you, it doesn't matter. Like, you just have to. Sorry?
It's good you mentioned the hard truth. Yes, that's what we want to find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, and you just have to respect that hierarchy and that rank, because that's how the whole boat is run. That's how the whole yacht is run.
That's very interesting, and that's where strong personalities, clash, because others may say no, they don't want to follow some rules, but you need those traffic light. I call it traffic lights.
Yeah.
For life, for yachting, to survive.
Exactly.
And to make it run. Are there more to share? Like, apart from the ranking, what else are the must-know etiquette rules?
There's a lot of etiquette because you are living, breathing, sleeping, everything. You're in such close proximity to all your crewmates, and you live in such small quarters. So there's definitely etiquette, like in the morning you wake up, you put your duvet down properly, you make your bed, you wipe down the bathroom, after you've used it. You don't leave your, at home, like if I want to like eat something and then just go and pop my dishes in the kitchen, it's only me and, my fiance that have to deal with it.
Yes.
On a yacht, if somebody comes in and there's dishes in the sink, that is really bad etiquette, because everyone has to live in these tiny quarters together.
Yes.
So you have to be really respectful of your crewmates.
Yes, wonderful. Wonderful you mentioned that. We'll come to the next thing. So we have now the must-know etiquette rules in the industry as such. Now back to your country. For those who do not know Australia, and I don't know how much you can tell about Oceania in general, but let's take Australia. What, or if there are even some differences, are there any do's and don'ts one should know before visiting Australia? And are there even, Australia is a young country and literally a melting pot. So I'm not sure whether there are really some typical things where you say, yes, that's a typical Australian thing. And this is something we don't do in Sydney or in Melbourne, but we do it in Perth. I'm not sure whether Australia has these differences, but are there any to know?
So probably the most important when you're coming to Australia is actually before you even leave the airport, because we are a very young country and we're very far away from other countries. There's a lot of diseases, insects, pests and things like that we don't have in Australia. So they are very, very, very strict at the border. So you can't bring any types of food, even like your jogging shoes. If there's soil on the bottom of it, you have to declare it when you come in, because there could be a tiny ant that could be devastating to our forests or something like that we don't even have in Australia. So that's probably the biggest etiquette is, you know, you get given the landing card and they're very, very strict with things like that.
And you have to follow the rules,
Yes.
And within the different regions, are there any differences, or would you say no?
No, I'd say it's pretty much across the board.
Okay, and anything else someone should know or not to do when coming to Australia?
I found it funny, actually. I brought a French boyfriend over to Australia once, and he found it amazing that the cars stop at the zebra crossing, because in Europe they just keep going, you know, you've got to be so careful. And he was just like, oh my gosh, like all the cars stop. And I was like, yeah, it's very different to Europe like that.
Thanks God. So traffic etiquette is taken seriously. Thanks God.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, hopefully there will be others who may be interested to visit Australia, but I always say it's very important to have a cultural awareness of other countries before visiting.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, well, we know it has been a very difficult year for many of us. And I would like to know, and I hope when you say or mention how your reflection was on 2020, personally and professionally, maybe there are people there who may relate to that and may feel a bit better that they are not alone. Would you mind sharing with us your reflection on 2020, personally and professionally?
So I think it's so hard for me because I guess it's you know, it's obviously devastating to see the effects of coronavirus around the world, but I just could never hate 2020 because it brought me my daughter, you know. So in some ways it was like the best year of my life, which is like I've actually struggled a little bit with guilt because other people had such a bad year. And I just loved my year so much. And I think that was kind of hard because it was like, I don't want to feel guilty for being happy. But at the same time, it's hard when everyone else is struggling so much with it. And I'm just so happy.
And you shouldn't at all. And actually, Hannah, it's good you mentioned that because I feel that's how I characterized you. And that was also the image people had from you. You have a huge empathy. And that's why you also suffer. And you just mentioned, you know, this empathy gives you also this feeling of guilt. But you had your difficult year, which wasn't maybe last year, but you had definitely yours. And you went through, and it made you stronger, the woman you are today, and a mother. No, you should be happy. Please be happy. And what about professionally?
Professionally, it was a really hard year because
No.
I guess that, it was obviously very difficult with what happened on Below Deck. So that was a really hard year to, I guess, like, it was such a big closing. It was a closing of a chapter of Below Deck, but it was also closing a chapter of yachting for me, which was 10 years of my life, you know?
Yes.
So, and it was closed in a way that was not very nice for me to go through. So, but at the same time, I'm so, like, I just became so driven while I was pregnant.
Yes.
It was like this weird need inside me to have something that was my own to support my daughter.
Yes, exactly.
So that's when I decided to start Ocean International.
That's why I just wanted to come to. Was that the beginning of, you were so driven that you just, mobilize all energy you had, whether it was for you and also for your daughter?
Yes.
Show you transformed and you grew out of this whole mess, and that made you stronger. And please, can you talk about the academy?
So I think it was like, I've been asked, my Instagram is always full of messages asking how to get into yachting. And I would have like a generic response that I would give people, but they would always come back with more questions. And it was like, I want to help you, but I also can't spend my entire life on my phone,
Correct.
And that's when it was my second trimester, and I just got this burst of energy, and that's when I decided to open Ocean International. And it was a lot of work. Like, I was up at about 5 o'clock every morning till 9 or 10 at night.
I believe life of an entrepreneur.
Yes. So it was very, very busy, and my fiance thought I was completely insane. He was like, why don't you just rest and relax and enjoy this time? And I don't know, I was just so driven, and I just felt like I wanted to build something that I could really, like, I think for many years I wasn't getting any job satisfaction from Below Deck or yachting anymore. And that's really hard. It was like, I was going to work for money, which is why a lot of people go to work, that's nothing to be ashamed of, but I wasn't like getting a tip and like, or having a really good guest experience and going, I just got a lot of job satisfaction. But having this company and speaking to these young people who are, they're hungry to go and do something, but they don't know how to start. I'm actually meeting, one of my students next week, and it's just amazing because it's like I said to Josh, I'm like, for the first time in so long, like, I feel like job satisfaction, and I'm making a difference in someone's life. And I could take somebody who maybe would have just stayed working in a coffee shop their whole life, and I can take them and change the course of their life and help them get out there and travel and see cultures and countries and meet different people, and like that, to me, I'm getting so, like, I love having conversations with my students. I love helping them. It's like, that's where I've got the fire in my belly, is to like take these young people and help them, have the best chance to have an opportunity like I had for 10 years. And,
you found your purpose. You found you found your ikigai. That's what they say, Japanese. You found your ikigai. That's beautiful. I hope that's an inspiration for others there. Those who may not be happy, and it's not always about the check. It is maybe a certain time, but then you realize, why am I still not happy? And don't have this, as you said, this satisfaction. It's the purpose, and you found your purpose. That's great, Hannah. That's great. I would still like to know a bit more about, so you just mentioned about your academy. Do people have to come to you? Nowadays, it's actually no more necessary. They can also do the course online.
Yeah, it's all online.
And
So we have
yeah.
the bronze course and the silver course. So
Okay.
they do that, and then the silver course comes with monthly Zoom meetings where you come and you join the Zoom call, everyone chats together. We have Facebook groups where they can go on and chat to other students. So I've had like students meet up and like do the training together and like quiz each other and stuff, and it's really like becoming a little community, which is amazing.
And that's the silver.
Yes.
That's the silver. And then?
So what I recommend to anyone who asks is, if you are wanting to learn more about the industry, if you want to kind of decide whether you want to do yachting or not, then do the bronze course, because that tells you like where to go, what the seasons are, how to dress, how to do interviews, how to do your CV, all of those things. But
bless
excuse
you.
Me.
Bless you.
And then the silver actually takes you into the details of the job.
Yes.
So then that takes you into the top 10 cocktails, how to turn down a cabin, all the different services, floral arrangements, napkin foldings. And so it actually trains you how to do the job. I always say the bronze is good if you're not sure whether you want to get into yachting.
Yes.
If you know you want to get into yachting, then go with the silver.
And can you figure out very quickly from the personality whether a candidate is maybe not made for the job? Or is it possible that someone, for example, doing the bronze and not sure whether, is this really something for me? Can you train someone? Maybe, as you said, you need to have thick skin, and the example you mentioned with waking up at 7, and although you have night shift, you are how many hours on your feet? Whether someone can really go through that. Do you figure out quickly such people, or are you also able to say, well, I can shape you to make you ready to be the candidate?
And that's exactly what we're doing with the silver courses, is giving people like the reality of, you know, of what this industry is about, because it's not easy. And you know, I always say to people, sometimes, you know, they'll message me and they'll be like, oh, where can I get this done, or what's this, or blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you can't get onto Google and search for something like this for yourself, like, you can't have your mother holding your hand through this industry. You know, I want to help you as much as I can, but you also need to be showing me, your chief stew, your captain, that you have that initiative and you can go and do things yourself, because sometimes you're in another country. Like, I remember my first season, I was in Italy, and the captain goes, oh, we need flowers for the charter tomorrow. Can you go and grab some? And I'm like, I can't turn around and go, where do I go? How do I pay? How do I like get them back to the boat? What do I like? They don't want that.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, because, you know, then you walk away and you're like, I have no idea how to say flowers in Italian. I kept saying the police station accidentally, so I kept getting sent to the police station. And, you know, it's frustrating and it's hard, but that's how you learn, is to be uncomfortable. And I think that if you go through your whole life and you're never in uncomfortable situations, you're not living it, you know?
Yes. And you bring
some of the greatest experiences I've had in my life stemmed from me being in a really uncomfortable position.
I believe you. And then, as you mentioned, you don't just have to work with what your crew members are expecting or wanting from you, or the captain saying this and this. You can't just say, no, it's not possible. You have to also work with the guests. And there are difficult guests, and there are VIPs who have a big ego. And you have to work out that too. So the balance is not easy, isn't it? And you train them to get there.
Yes. And my dream with the academy is to turn it into face-to-face. So once COVID calms down and everything like that, then I'm really hoping to open like a stewardess training school in the south of France and in Florida. And do the face-to-face training.
Wow. Big goals.
Yes.
Wonderful. You
Dream
are
big.
Giving back. You are really giving back. That's great. I could ask much more, but you are a busy mom, a busy businesswoman. Let's get to the next. So I could ask so much about your training, but well, we have to go on. And I would like to conclude this small fireside chat on a humorous note, and prepared 3 fun question quizzes, really just for fun, to fill out our leaderboard. I hope I'll bring a smile on your face. So the first question is, what was the name of the first yacht you started below deck med with? Can you remember?
Talisman Maiden. Talisman?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I had something else in mind.
Oh, wait.
Wonderful. I thought it was the Ionian Princess.
Oh, no, it was. It was the Ionian Princess.
What?
I think Talisman Maiden was season 2.
It's fun. Okay. And the second question, you probably laugh. What is moussaka?
Moussaka. Moussaka is a vegetarian. No, it's a Greek dish with eggplant and lamb mince.
Exactly. Okay. And the last question is a 5-second challenge. So within 5 seconds, name me 3 islands in the Mediterranean. 5.
Santorini, Crete, and Mykonos.
Wonderful. Great. So we have 2 points. It's just for the leaderboard. I think you are leading, Hannah. You are leading now.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. Well, okay. We're coming to an end. And a typical or a special feature of this whole fireside chat is to grab a coffee or tea and then have your comfortable corner. So in this case, what's your go-to coffee order?
I have a piccolo with 1 sugar.
Piccolo?
Yes.
Strong coffee lover?
Yes. Very strong.
Baristas will love you.
Yeah.
Okay, Hannah, I would love to hear so much about the academy. And I hope, especially here in the Southeast Asian region, some could take a bit of insight of what you are offering. It's unbelievable, because this is really a training for life, not only, for the yachting industry. This is training for life. And Asians love taking courses and online courses. So I hope one or how many will try to contact you.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I wish you well, Hannah. Thank you so much for finding the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you.
It was really lovely to meet you. And you are such a good person, really. It's unbelievable. And I hope people will see this side too, and how empathetic you are, and always trying to help others, help and giving back. Thank you so much for having you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Be well, be safe. Bye. Bye.
There has never been a more important time for our society to bring all the aspects of etiquette, soft skills, people skills, whatever you call it, to the forefront. Knowing that 10% of the world's employment is in the hospitality industry, you should do things differently. You should brush up your soft skills. I hope you enjoyed the trip into the world of yachting, and we have more inspiring and powerful stories coming. So please do not forget to subscribe my YouTube channel in order not to miss out. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you.